A quiet truth hides behind attraction, and most people never notice it. The people who pull others in without effort are often not the loudest, the funniest, or the ones trying hardest to be noticed. In fact, the harder many people chase attention, approval, or chemistry, the faster it slips through their hands. Attraction starts breaking the moment effort begins to look forced. A strange pattern appears again and again in social psychology. People are naturally drawn toward calm energy, emotional control, quiet confidence, and behavior that feels effortless instead of desperate. Yet most people spend years believing attraction works through perfect words, clever tricks, or endless self-improvement. That belief quietly creates pressure, and pressure changes everything. It changes the way someone talks, listens, reacts, and even the way others feel around them. One person enters a room and instantly becomes memorable without demanding attention, while another tries everything to be noticed and somehow becomes invisible. The difference is smaller than most people think, but also more powerful than most people realize. Hidden beneath ordinary conversations are tiny psychological signals that shape attraction before a single impressive sentence is spoken. Small pauses, calm timing, emotional patience, controlled attention, a sense of comfort that quietly tells another person, without words, "You are safe here." What makes this even more fascinating is that some of the strongest forms of attraction happen when people stop trying to create attraction at all. This is where things begin to get uncomfortable, because many habits that seem attractive on the surface secretly push people away. Oversharing, chasing approval, talking too much, trying too hard to impress. Most people never notice the damage because these behaviors look normal, even harmless, yet they slowly weaken mystery, tension, and emotional connection. At the same time, there are lesser-known psychological patterns that quietly increase magnetism, patterns most people overlook because they seem too simple to matter. Why does calmness feel powerful? Why do certain people feel unforgettable after only a short interaction? Why does emotional control sometimes attract more attention than beauty, status, or perfect words? And why do people often become more magnetic the moment they stop seeking validation? In this video, you will learn the hidden psychology behind effortless seduction, why trying harder often destroys attraction, how calm behavior changes the way people see you, why mystery works on the human brain, how emotional presence creates connection, and the surprising reason why detachment can sometimes pull people closer instead of pushing them away. Some of these ideas may challenge what you thought attraction really was, and by the end, you may start noticing social behavior in a completely different way. Stay until the end because one simple shift in mindset could completely change how people respond to you without fake confidence, manipulation, or rehearsed lines. Welcome to the channel where psychology, human behavior, and hidden truths are explored in ways that make everyday life easier to understand. And if this kind of content interests you, subscribe and join us for more videos like this. Most people misunderstand seduction before they even begin to understand attraction. The word itself creates the wrong picture in the mind. It sounds like manipulation, clever tricks, perfect timing, or smooth words designed to impress someone. Many people quietly believe attraction is a performance. Speak the right way, dress the right way, say the perfect sentence, act more confident than you really feel, hide weakness, control every moment. But real attraction rarely works like that. In many situations, attraction starts forming before logic even has time to enter the room, long before people think they feel, long before someone decides if another person is interesting, trustworthy, or attractive. The brain is already collecting emotional signals and making quiet judgments in the background. A person may not even understand why someone feels pleasant to be around, calming, magnetic, uncomfortable, distant, warm, or strangely unforgettable. The explanation often sits beneath awareness, hidden inside tiny moments that seem too small to matter. A pause before speaking, a relaxed tone of voice, comfortable silence, calm eyes, the feeling that someone is fully present instead of mentally running in 10 different directions. Most people miss this because society teaches attraction like a performance, almost like a competition where effort wins. Try harder, speak more, impress more, show more personality, be more entertaining. But effort becomes visible very quickly, and visible effort often creates pressure. Pressure changes the emotional feeling inside conversations. Suddenly, the interaction stops feeling natural and starts feeling heavy. Someone becomes too eager, too available, too desperate to be liked without realizing it. This is the misunderstanding that quietly ruins attraction for so many people. Seduction is not about forcing attention. It is psychology, it is emotional communication happening beneath words. Humans are emotional creatures before they are logical ones. Even highly intelligent people react emotionally first and explain it logically later. Someone may say they like another person because they are funny, smart, attractive, successful, or confident. But often these reasons arrive after a feeling already exists. First comes emotional comfort. First comes curiosity. First comes emotional safety. First comes presence. The mind reacts before it explains itself. That hidden reaction changes everything. Think about how quickly people form impressions. Sometimes within seconds, someone feels easy to trust. Another person feels exhausting even when they say all the right things. One person walks into a room and somehow shifts the emotional atmosphere without speaking much. Another talks nonstop yet leaves no emotional impact at all. This happens because people constantly read signals beyond language. Energy matters, emotional steadiness matters, calmness matters, listening matters, tone matters, confidence matters, but not the loud confidence people usually think about. Real confidence often looks quiet, it looks relaxed, it feels unforced. Human beings notice tension faster than they notice perfection. When someone is trying very hard to impress, there is often hidden tension underneath the behavior. The words may sound polished, but the emotional feeling underneath quietly says, "Please approve of me, please notice me, please like me." The strange thing is that people often sense this pressure without knowing why. They only know the interaction feels heavy, uncomfortable, rushed, or emotionally loud. Attraction weakens because emotional pressure replaces emotional comfort. This is why real seduction often looks surprisingly simple from the outside. It is built through tiny signals instead of performance. Small behaviors shape emotional reactions. Presence matters more than performance. Expression matters more than perfection. The way someone reacts to silence matters. Whether they seem emotionally centered matters. Whether they make another person feel comfortable matters. Even something as simple as slowing down can completely change how someone is perceived. Fast speech often feels anxious. Constant talking can feel nervous. Over-explaining feels defensive. Oversharing too early can quietly remove mystery before curiosity has time to grow. People do not simply hear words, they feel emotional states. Every interaction carries emotional energy hidden beneath conversation. Calmness spreads, anxiety spreads too. Comfort spreads, pressure spreads. Someone emotionally stable changes the room without effort because people naturally respond to emotional signals all the time. And this leads to one of the biggest shifts in effortless attraction. Stop performing. That sounds simple, but it quietly changes everything. Most people enter conversations trying to create an outcome. They want approval, they want chemistry, they want validation. They want someone to think highly of them. The moment this happens, behavior changes. Words become calculated, timing becomes forced, personality becomes exaggerated, silence suddenly feels dangerous. Many people start speaking too much because silence feels uncomfortable. They overshare personal details because they think vulnerability must happen immediately. They explain themselves too much because they fear misunderstanding. They laugh harder than necessary, agree too quickly, try too hard to seem impressive. None of this usually feels intentional. It often comes from nervousness mixed with hope. But nervousness wrapped in approval seeking creates emotional pressure, and pressure changes how people feel around someone. A strange truth appears when watching naturally magnetic people. They rarely seem obsessed with being liked. They are engaged, warm, interested, and emotionally present, but they are not performing for approval. They do not desperately chase reactions. They are not constantly checking whether every sentence landed correctly. They are not trying to force connection. Because of this, their energy feels lighter, safer, more natural. Effortless people become attractive partly because they are not begging to be liked. That sentence sounds uncomfortable because many people quietly spend years doing exactly that without realizing it. They become performers in their own personality. They turn social interaction into emotional work. Every conversation becomes a hidden test. Did this person like me? Did I sound confident enough? Was I funny enough? Attractive enough? Interesting enough? The mind starts chasing approval, and chasing approval slowly removes emotional freedom. There is an invisible difference between performing and presence. Performing quietly says, "Please like me." Presence quietly says, "I am comfortable being myself." That difference changes emotional atmosphere immediately. Presence feels calm because nothing is being forced. Presence listens instead of waiting for a chance to impress. Presence allows silence. Presence does not panic when attention shifts. Presence feels emotionally stable. Ironically, the less desperate someone becomes for approval, the easier attraction often forms. This confuses many people because it sounds backward. Society teaches that effort creates results, yet attraction often grows when effort becomes softer, calmer, and less controlling. Calm energy carries surprising psychological power. People naturally trust emotional steadiness because human beings constantly read emotional environments without thinking about it. Someone anxious can quietly make others anxious. Someone emotionally calm can make tension disappear. This emotional exchange happens all the time beneath awareness. Think about how different it feels talking to someone rushed and restless compared to someone relaxed and emotionally steady. One conversation feels pressured, the other feels safe. Safety matters more than many people realize. Calmness signals confidence because calmness quietly says, "I do not need to force this moment. I do not need to rush. I do not need to control outcomes." That emotional signal feels powerful because power rarely looks desperate. Desperation looks rushed. Calmness looks secure. When someone speaks slowly, listens carefully, and seems emotionally relaxed, the brain quietly starts making assumptions. This person feels confident. This person feels safe. This person feels grounded. Even if nobody says these words directly, emotional impressions begin forming almost automatically. Calm people often feel attractive because they reduce emotional noise. They do not overwhelm interactions. They create space. They listen. They react naturally. Silence does not scare them. Their attention feels intentional instead of chaotic. In a world filled with distraction, emotional calm quietly becomes memorable because it feels rare. After everything we explored, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. Effortless seduction was never about becoming a different person, creating a fake personality, or learning clever tricks to control attention. The biggest misunderstanding begins when people think attraction is something forced into existence, but real connection rarely grows under pressure. It grows in spaces where people feel calm, understood, curious, and emotionally safe. The strange twist is that many people spend years trying harder when the real answer asks them to remove what is already getting in the way. Remove the performance. Remove the need to impress every second. Remove the pressure to always say the perfect thing. Remove the silent fear of not being enough. Because attraction changes when desperation leaves the room. The people who quietly stand out are often not trying to stand out at all. They stop chasing approval. They stop forcing chemistry. They stop shaping every sentence around being liked. Instead, they become present. They listen without rushing. They speak without panic. They stay curious instead of trying to appear interesting. They allow mystery to breathe instead of explaining everything immediately. They make people feel noticed instead of competing to be noticed. And maybe this is the hidden truth most people miss. Attraction often begins in the moments that feel natural, not manufactured.